Hi everybody, I'm Tami from Nutmeg Notebook. Today we are going to be talking about treats and weight loss. So I recently posted some recipes for some healthy sweet treats, and someone asked me a really good question. How do you eat just one? Like many of us, when you make something, maybe you want to eat the whole pan. Maybe it calls you from the fridge and you can't resist. Well, here's the truth about it all. Here's what I do. If I make a sweet treat, I usually cut it up into individual servings, and then I will put it in the freezer and get one serving out at a time. Now, let's remember, I've been doing this for a really long time. I went whole food plant-based in 2013, so I'm going on 11 years having eaten healthy. So maybe it's not as big of an issue for me now as it was back in 2013. So if you're trying to cut back on the amount of calories you eat each day and reduce your overall calorie density of the foods that you eat, you need to realize that even if you're making healthy treats, they are going to be higher calorie density than fruit or vegetables, right? And so our brains are hardwired to seek out the highest calorie density foods for the least amount of effort in our environment. And so you can have some delicious fruit around, but if you also have some of those more richer treats available, your brain says, let's go get those. It's a survival technique that we don't necessarily need anymore because we have an abundance of food around us. So here's the thing. When I was in my weight loss phase, I wasn't making a lot of treats to eat, because if you were addicted to baked goods and sweets and sugar before you started embarking on a whole food plant-based lifestyle, guess what? You're really susceptible to that, even if it's whole food plant-based. It's going to trigger a little something in your brain that says, oh my goodness, let's have more of that. So in the beginning, I think it's a really good idea to not have a lot of that kind of stuff around. First of all, you cannot rely on willpower. Willpower comes and goes. It's not sustainable to rely on willpower in order to not eat the higher calorie density treats. It just isn't. Maybe you've tried and you failed, and you understand what I'm talking about. And so give yourself some time, give yourself some grace, and allow yourself to neuroadapt to the whole goodness of the whole fruit and the whole vegetable, and get used to the flavor. You get a reset on your taste buds that is just amazing. That's why people who go to like the True North Health Center and do a water only medically supervised fast, at the end of that, they think everything tastes amazing, even zucchini, plain broth, a vegetable-based juice tastes great. It's a reset for your taste buds. So if you've just embarked on trying to lose weight or adopting a whole food plant-based lifestyle, it's a really good idea to concentrate on whole foods for a while. Give yourself time to have a reset, neuroadapt to the flavor and the pleasure of eating whole plant-based foods. You will be amazed. Eventually, the fruit tastes amazing. It will be so sweet. You'll get to the point sometime where sweet potatoes will be too sweet for you. You will be amazed at that. So that is my advice. Maybe save your treats when the weekend comes and you allow yourself to have something. and make it a single serving. So I have a single serving chocolate mug cake recipe on the blog at nutmegnotebook.com. It only makes one serving. You can't do a lot of damage with it. Now, do you want to get in the habit of having that every night? Absolutely not. And we train ourselves to expect those sweet treats. We can get caught up in the pleasure trap, and I highly recommend that you read the book by Dr. Goldhammer and Dr. Doug Lisle called The Pleasure Trap. When I read that, like a light bulb went on for me, and I was like, oh my goodness, I totally get now why it's hard to resist so many high fat, high sugar foods. I used to think something was broken with me, that I, couldn't handle eating those things in moderation. Well, I learned from the pleasure trap that nothing's wrong with my brain at all. In fact, it works pretty darn good at trying to make sure that I get enough calories to survive. So give yourself time to neuroadapt. Enjoy the flavor of the foods. Limit how many of those baked goods and treats that you make. When you do have something, make it a single serving so that you can't overindulge, and don't create a daily habit where every time you finish a meal, you feel like you have to have a special sweet treat, unless, of course, it's some fruit. Now, nobody eats dessert because they're still hungry, right? We eat that after we have had a filling and satisfying meal, and then we still are able to find room for a piece of pie or ice cream or some plant-based cookies. And we're not eating that because we're still hungry. We're eating it because we like the pleasure of it. Well, you can derive the same amount of pleasure from delicious sweet fruit that is packed full of water and fiber that will fill you up and not out. Now think about it. You probably used to be able to sit down and eat a whole sleeve of cookies in one sitting. Well, you can't sit down and eat a whole bag of apples. It just won't happen. Oranges, pears, whatever it might be, because they're limiting. Why are they limiting? They're limiting because they have a lot of water and fiber, and they fill us up. They fill our stomach. And so we get the signal that, hey, we're full down here. We don't need to have any more. It's not a hyper palatable food like processed food. Even the sweet treats that we make are more processed than if we were eating the whole foods. That's why it's harder to stop at just one serving. That's why even if you have them in the freezer, they can call your name. So I don't make a lot of sweet treats. I make some. Now, if I know that we're going to have company, or we're going to a birthday party or a celebration, a holiday dinner, what have you, and there's going to be non-compliant desserts there, I will make one of my compliant desserts. I will make my brownies. I will make my chocolate chip blondies. I will make something and take it for me, but I will take one serving of it, and then I will also have fresh fruit with it to kind of counter how sweet that is, and to give me extra fiber and some water to help bulk that up in my stomach. And that works well for me. And I've broken the habit of thinking that I have to have a baked sweet treat or a dessert every night. So now I'm at the point where I can have some things in the freezer now and then, so that if I do want something, I have it and I can have one serving and stop at one serving. So that's what works well for me. Everyone has to decide what's going to work best for them. I know one person told me that what she does is she has 2 designated days of the week that she allows herself to have dessert. Now that works well for her because she doesn't feel deprived then. She knows when those 2 days come that she gets to have a single serving of some kind of whatever is a special treat for her, and that keeps her from wanting it the rest of the week or from binging. And so we all have to decide for ourselves what works. Some people like to allow themselves to have some dessert on the weekend. They loosen the belt a little bit, if you will, on the weekend, and that works well for them. They can make it, Monday through Friday, knowing that Saturday and Sunday they get to have a little something. And, if you do it in a single serving, then you don't have leftovers that are going to be calling your name. Or if you wait until you're going to have company over, or going to someone's house, or going to a potluck, and then give away the rest of the pan of it so you don't have it at home tempting you. And if you really want to concentrate on your calorie density, eat the whole foods for now, and that will help you get a really good start. And then you can test the waters later on after you've had some really good success, after you've let a lot of time pass between expecting to have sweet treats all the time, and it'll just get easier. So the more distance you have between the memory of eating those things, the easier it gets. And that's hard to believe in the beginning, but it's really true, and you'll find that out for yourself. And then when you're ready to have some little treats, then maybe do like the banana nice cream, or some Ninja creamy nice cream. I have recipes for those on the blog when you're ready, and I have recipes for some sweet treats on the blog that don't break the bank, but they still taste really, really good. So just be mindful of your eating and be kind to yourself about it, and just know that if you're having trouble moderating, that's perfectly normal. There isn't anything wrong with you. So I hope this helps someone out there who's struggling with this. I'm Tami, and I help you get healthy and stay healthy, one meal at a time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye.